Once again, good evening. Our PM class tonight, we are going to be taking second question. This class started last week. We started with cost estimation techniques. We discussed the various methods of estimating costs. A quick recap of our last class. We define cost estimation as the measurement of historical cost with a view to predicting the likely future cost. We are measuring historical cost so as to assist us in the estimation of likely future costs. We discussed the various methods of estimating costs. We have the engineering method. We have the account analysis method. We have the scatter diagrams. We have the high and low method. And we have the regression analysis method. We explained these various methods, and thereafter, we were able to solve a question on cost estimating method last week, with a promise to take one more question today and round up the topic, all things being equal. So we shall be looking at illustration 2 on page 106. The full material has been shared with the class. So this material is available on the chat. Some are not having the link. I'm surprised the link is there. So we shall be looking at question number 2 tonight. The number is quite small. It's always around 15. I'm surprised. My volume is always in 100%. I don't reduce my volume. So can somebody confirm if you can hear me clearly?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Latif, your device is a challenge. Your device is a challenge. I know I'm at the top of my voice. I'm trying to reshare the material. I want us to address this question fully today. All right. Yes, the material has been reshared. If you are just joining the group tonight, we have reshared the material. You can refer to page 106, illustration 2. All right, let's move to this question because time is very, very scarce here. All right, I'll read. Eko Akete Industries Limited operates 2 factories. One in Apapa, the other in Ikeja. The factory at Apapa is producing outputs in excess of sales demand. And it will be necessary to reduce outputs in the next period from the current level, 90% level of activity, in brackets, 11,700 units to 75%. The factory at Ikeja is also currently working at 90% level of activity, in brackets, 8,100 units of a different products, bracket close. But due to heavy sales demand, it is intended to increase output to 115%. You are given the following information about cost. Apapa factory. Level of activity, 80%. %90%, and 100%. Just 1 minute, please. Please, just 1 minute. All right, let's go. Some students are trying to join the class and they cannot join. Okay. Apapa factory, 80%, 90% level, and 100% level. At this level, we have direct material cost, direct labor cost, and production overhead. We equally have sales value. At Ikeja factory, we have 80%, 90%, 100%, up to 110%. We have the material cost, at the different levels. We have the labor cost and we have the production overhead. And we are giving the sales in Naira value, Naira amounts. Requirements. A. Prepare a statement to show the expected marginal cost, contribution, and profits at each factory at the proposed level of activity. Requirement B, briefly explain why your approach to estimating costs should differ for each factory. Now, this question has been read. In my usual manner, I will ask the class, to what extent do you understand the question and the examiner requirements? If you look at this question, we have a company with two factories at different locations. Apapa factory and Ikeja factory. At Apapa factory, the company is operating at 90% level of activity. At this 90%, the company produces 11,000 units of a product. Now, the company is planning to reduce production at Apapa factory to 75% level of activity. At Ikeja factory, the company is also operating at 90% level of activity. At this level, at Ikeja, the company produces 8,100 units of a different product. Now, due to heavy demand, the company is planning to increase its production level at Ikeja factory to 115. Now, the examiner now says we should prepare a statement to show the expected marginal cost and the expected contribution and the expected profit at each factory at the proposed level of activity. This means that to answer this question, to be able to do justice to this question, we need to explain what is marginal cost. How do we calculate marginal cost? What is contribution? How do we calculate contribution? And what is profit? How do we calculate profit? For you to attempt a question very well, you must understand the question. And you must understand the examiner requirement. If I ask the class, what is marginal cost? If I'm to throw this open to the class, what is marginal cost? Yes, Alexia.
So, marginal cost is a variable cost incurred during the
Marginal
period.
cost is
Is a
variable
variable,
cost.
yeah, incurred in related production. In related production.
All right. According to Alexia, marginal cost is the variable cost incurred. Fine. Any other opinion? Thank you, Alexia. If you are to define marginal cost, there are two perspectives to marginal cost definition. From the viewpoint of the accountants, marginal cost is all the variable costs incurred. From the viewpoint of the accountants, marginal cost is all the variable costs incurred. That means if you want to calculate marginal cost from the viewpoint of the accountants, you are going to take all the variable costs and you are going to sum up all the variable costs. That will represent your marginal cost. The second view, from the perspective of the economist, from economist perspective, marginal cost is the additional cost incurred as a result of producing an extra unit of a company's products. From the economics viewpoint, marginal cost is the additional cost incurred as a result of producing an extra unit of the company's products. Now, having defined this, we are going to answer this question from the angle of, from the perspective of the accountants. Now let's go to this question. It's just 1 minute. Just 1 minute. I'm trying to guess. All right, let's move on with the class. All right, we move to our solution part of this question. Oh, okay, we define marginal cost. We didn't define contribution. Contribution is simply your sales less your marginal cost. The contribution is the sales less the marginal cost, while your profit is calculated as the contribution less fixed cost. All right, let's move to this calculation quickly to manage the time. All right, let's come here. All right, we start with Apapa factory. Apapa factory. Now, you are going to approach this question using steps. First, if you look at Apapa factory, we are giving level of activities in percentages. 80%, 90%, 100%. The first thing to do is to determine number of units produced at 80% level of activities. Number of units produced at 90% level of activities. And number of units produced at 100% level of activity. You will try to convert the percentage to number of units produced. That will be your step number one. Your step one, we come here, step one. Determine outputs in units. At each level of activity. This will be your step one. We have 80% level. 90% level and 100% level. Now the question says at Apapa factory. Let's go there, please. The question says at Apapa factory. Look at it, please. The current 90% level of activities in brackets, 11,700 units. That means at 90%, Apapa will produce 11,900 units. This is given to us in the question.
It's 11,700 units, sir.
Oh, so thank you. 11,700 units. We can now use this to derive 80% and 100%. If you want to do that, for 80%, it becomes 80 over 90 multiplied by 11,700. That will give us the units for 80% level. Please compose. For 100%, it becomes 100 over 90 multiplied by 117. We have done that, please. We can't go back to that. I started with a recap of this class. What do you have here, please?
10,400.
Oh, 10,400.
10,400 units. Here, this still remains 11,700 units. Then at 100%, what do we have, please?
13,000.
13,000 units. All right. Now, the proposed level for Apapa, the company is planning to reduce production to 75% level. At this level, output will be 75 over 90 multiplied by 11,700. What is the output, please? This is the proposed level. 9,000 what?
9,750.
Thank you. So you have been able to derive the unit produced at the various levels of activity. That will take your step number 1. Now your step number 2 is to test for cost behavior. You recall at our last class, we explained that the knowledge of cost estimation, the knowledge of cost behavior is necessary for cost estimation. For those that were in class last week, whether in my physical class or the online class, I try to emphasize that for you to estimate cost, you must understand cost behavior. Under the cost behavior, you can have variable cost, you can have fixed cost, and you can have mixed cost. So step number 2, we are going to test for cost behavior. Our step 2, test for cost behavior. This will be your step number 2. If you are trying to estimate cost, you test for cost behavior. We are going to pick the individual costs we are giving. We are giving direct material cost. Remember, we are still dealing with Apapa.
Yes, sir.
Our level of activity. In percentage, we have 80%, we have 90%, and we have 100%. Outputs in units. At 80%, the output is 8,400 units. At 90%, the output is 11,700. And 100%, 13,000 units.
Size 10,400, not 8,000.
8,000.
Oh, 10,400. Why am I having 8,000 in my mind, self? 10,400. Okay. Next, pick direct material cost at Apapa. Let's go to it, please. If you have this material with you, go to it, either printed or on your laptop. Let's go to it together. Scrolling down. Material cost for Apapa 80%, 72,800, 81,900, and 91,000. So please, I'll require this figure to work with. Okay. I have in Naira now, 72,800. Next,
81,900.
81,900.
81, 81,900, and
91,000.
91,000. Now calculate direct material cost per unit. Material cost per unit. Look at it, please. How to calculate this? Take it. At 80%, the company produced 10,400 units. Total material cost 72,800. Please, what is material cost per unit? Divide 72,800 by 10,400.
7 naira.
7.
7 naira.
7 naira, please. Move to the next level. Divide 81,900 by 11,700 units. How much, please?
7 naira.
7 naira.
7 naira. Go to the last level. Divide 91,000 by 13,000 units.
7 naira.
7 naira. Okay. Now you observe that the material cost per unit is the same.
Yes, sir.
Hello? You
Yes,
observe
sir.
that the material cost per unit is the same at all levels. At 80%, material cost per unit is 7 naira. At 90%, material cost per unit is 7 naira. At 100%, material cost per unit is 7 naira. Once this occurs, it implies that material cost per unit is entirely a variable cost. Please note, if cost per unit remain constant at all levels, this is an indication that that cost is entirely a variable cost. Is that point clear to all?
Yeah.
I'll take that again. Where cost per unit remain constant at all levels. At all levels. This is an indication that that cost is entirely a variable cost. In this case, Material cost is a variable cost. You are going to note that. Note. Material cost is entirely a variable cost. We have defined the behavior of material cost. We move to when you are done with the first cost is material cost. You move to labor cost. You must test for cost behavior. Direct labor cost. You have the level of activity. %, 90%, 100%. Then we have outputs in units, 10,400 units, 11,700 units, 13,000 units. Then pick your direct labor costs. Now, please go check the material for Papa go check the labor cost for Papa. Labor cost 62,400, 7,200, and 78. You are going to pick this cost. The first one,
62,400.
62,400. Next,
7,200.
7,200. Next,
78,000. 78,000.
Please calculate direct labor cost per unit.
6 naira. 6 naira.
Per unit. Okay, 6 naira.
6 naira for the second one.
Why am I picking 4 naira?
Well, for the second one.
6 naira.
6 naira for the third one too.
Naira. 6 naira. Look at it again. Once you calculate cost per unit, and that cost per unit is constant at all levels of activity, whether we produce 10,400 or we produce 11,700, the labor cost per unit is constant at all levels. This is an indication that this labor cost is entirely a variable cost. Is that clear, please?
Yes, sir.
So you take your notes. Direct labor cost is entirely a variable cost. Then you now move to production overhead. You know, in the question, we are given 3 costs. We have direct material cost. We have direct labor cost. And we are giving production overhead cost. So we are going to text. Now come here, let's text. You have your activity level. Level of activity as given in the question. We have at 80%, at 90%, and at 100%. Then output in units. In units, this is 10,400 units. This is 11,700 units. And this is 13,000 units. Now, please, can you supply the production overhead cost for us? Anybody?
59,200.
The first one?
59,200.
59,200. Next?
63,100.
63,100. Next?
67,000.
67,000. All right, this is production overhead cost. Now we are going to calculate overhead cost per unit. Please take it to 2 decimal places. Production overhead cost per unit.
5.69.
5.69. So 2 decimal
5.39.
5.39.
5.15.
5.15. All right. You observe that this cost is not constant per unit. If you look at this cost,
Yes.
Yes, sir.
as production volume increases, look at it. The overhead cost per unit falls. Look at it. When we produce 10,400, the overhead cost per unit is 5 naira 69. When we increase production to 11,700, the overhead cost per unit falls to 5 naira 39 kobo. When we increase production to 13,000 units, the overhead cost per unit is 5 naira 15 kobo. This means that as production volumes increases, the cost per unit falls. Please note, ladies and gentlemen, where production volume increases and cost per unit, cost per one fall, this is an indication that that cost is a miscost. Hello?
Hi.
Where production volume increases and cost per unit fall, this is a confirmation that the cost in question is a miscost. It contains elements of variable cost and fixed cost. Let us take the notes here. Take the notes here. Notes. Note as production volume increases, comma, production overhead costs, production overhead costs, overhead cost per unit. 4. This is an indication that the cost is a mixed cost. It contains variable and fixed costs. It contains variable and fixed costs. You are going to note this. I'm writing this to explain. In exam, you might not need to write. Once you observe that volume is rising and cost per unit is falling, you must know that that cost is a base cost. It contains elements of variable and fixed cost. In this case, we use high and low method to separate the cost. Because the production overhead cost is a mixed cost, it contains elements of variable and fixed cost. In this case, you are going to use high and low method to separate the cost into. Okay, please go ahead with your question. Sorry. You are going to use high and low method to separate the cost. Yes, please go ahead. Zoom user.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, sir. You mentioned that the first and the second one, that we have the direct material cost and variable cost. But before we got to this point, you also taught us that variable cost is the cost of production that does not remain constant, that changes as the level of production increases.
Okay.
So how is this one that is constant also variable cost?
Okay. I know where you are missing the point now. Now, our question is, we should try to make clarification that we explained that variable cost is that cost that vary with the volume of production. Now, how come this cost is now remaining the same? Now, for clarification, when we say variable cost, these are costs that vary in direct proportion with the volume of production. The more we produce, the more variable cost incurred. Now, if you are talking of total variable cost, total variable cost will increase. The total variable cost, as you produce more, the total variable cost will rise. But variable cost per one will remain constant. Let me take you back to that calculation quickly. It's a good question she asked anyway, because you can actually, I want to take this off. Yeah, okay, look at this. Look at this. Look at production for activity level 80. When the company produced 10,400, total variable cost was 72,800. As we produce more, 11,700, Production increase. Look at total variable cost here. 81,900. That means as the company is producing more, the total material cost is increasing. Look at it again. As we produce 13,000, the total material cost is 91,000. It also increased. So variable costs, these are costs that vary in direct proportion with production. But variable cost per unit will remain fixed, remain constant. Look at cost per unit here. If you produce just one, material cost per one is 7 naira. That means if I produce two, I'm going to multiply 2 by 7. It becomes 14 naira. If I produce 3, total material cost becomes 21 naira. As I'm doing more, total material cost, total variable cost will increase. But the variable cost per unit will be the same. Is that clever?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you for that question, because it could create confusion. Thank you for that. All right. So we have taken a note now that our production overhead is a mixed cost. It contains elements of variable cost and fixed cost. Now, once you have a mixed cost, you have to separate it. You have to separate the cost into variable compartments and fixed compartments. How do we separate this cost? We can use high and low method. That will be done now. We move to page 3. We can use high and low method. It's just 1 minute. Let's go on with the class.
Hello, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, before.
Yes, sir, I'm listening. We are listening to you, ma'am. I can't hear her. Can anybody hear her?
Can you hear me now, sir?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, I said the first step we did, I noticed that we divided everything by 90%, apart from the 90% that they gave us the units. So my question is that, is it because they already gave us the units for 90%? Is that why we divided
Correct.
the other ones by 90?
Yes, correct. Because we are giving for 90% units, for 90% level of activities, we are giving the units that equal to 90%.
Okay.
That's why we use 90% as our base.
Okay, sir. So if reverse was the case and then they gave us like for 80%, would have divided by 80, right?
Thank you. We'll have said we'll have divided by 80, because at 80% we are giving the number of units. That becomes the base.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for that question. All right. Now, you now use high and low method. You said high and low method. Output. Production overhead costs. Go back to the previous working. We take the highest activity level. If you look at this, the highest activity level is 100%. At this level, production was 13,000. Is that not, please?
That's true.
Yes, sir.
Just stop. Just moving. Oh, yeah, it's taking too much command. I have to go back again. Okay. Look at it. At the highest activity level, 13. Oh, no, I wanted this. Okay, I wanted this. We are talking of production overhead. At the highest activity level, the production was 13,000 units. Overhead cost total 67,000. The lowest level here is 80%. At this level, the production was 10,400. Overhead cost at this level, 59,200. I'll pick these two variables. Remember the step for high and low method.
Yes,
Identify the highest activity level and the corresponding cost. Next, identify the lowest activity level and the corresponding cost. So let's go to this. Okay, I need to stop here. Okay, so our highest activity level, remember we are dealing with production overhead, 13,000 units. At this level, total overhead cost was 67,000. Lowest level, 10,400 units. At this level, total overhead cost was 59 what, please? 200, I guess.
200,
yes,
yes.
sir.
Now look for the differences in cost, differences in units.
That's 2,600.
This is 2,600 units.
That's 7,800.
This is 7,800 naira. Now calculate your variable overhead rate per unit. Remember, we are dealing with overhead cost.
Yes, sir.
Variable overhead rates per unit. This is equal to differences in cost divided by differences in output. That is 7,800 divided by 2,600 units. Please, what is the variable overhead per unit?
3 naira per unit.
3 naira. You have gotten the variable overhead per unit. Next, you know we itemized this step last week. Next, calculate your total variable overhead cost. Calculate your total variable overhead cost. Like we explained last week, you can either calculate this at the highest level, or you can calculate at the lowest level. You can either calculate the total variable overhead cost either at the highest level or at the lowest level. Somebody is speaking on the background. Please, you can mute if you don't have, if you are not speaking to the class, you can mute. All right. I'll come here. Let us look at both levels. High level or low level. Output at high level, 13,000 units. Output at low level, 10,400 units. Now, next. variable overhead. Overhead per unit. No, it's one per unit. This is 3 naira. This is 3 naira. Calculate total variable overhead. Total variable overhead. This will be at
The first one is 39.
39,000.
but here how much?
39,000 naira.
31,200.
31,200. Okay. Now, what we are saying here is that if you go to the I, out of this total overhead cost here at high level, 67,000. Total variable overhead is 39,000. What is total fixed overhead? We can compute.
Yeah.
We can just come here and say our total fixed overhead is equal to, for the first one, I have 67,000 minus, let me take this a bit down, minus 39,000. That will give me total fixed overhead. How much?
28,000.
28,000.
Also check low level. At low level, the total overhead cost is 59,200. Oh, sorry.
59.
I need to take this off.
Same as 28,000.
Yes, I know it will give me the same thing. Minus total variable for low level, minus 31,200. That will also give you 28,000. You see now, whether at the highest level or at the lowest level, the total fixed cost will remain. Can you see it? Recall, there are 3 conditions for high and low method. One is that there must be activity at the highest level and the lowest level. Number 2 is that the total fixed cost must be the same, whether at the highest level or at the lowest level. And the third condition is the variable cost per unit must be constant. The variable cost per unit, per one, must be constant. These are the 3 conditions for high and low method. All right, we have separated all the costs now. We have separated the cost into variable. Direct material cost is a variable cost. Direct labor cost is a variable cost. Our production overhead, we have separated into variable and fixed. You can now prepare the statements. You know what the examiner said we should do is to prepare statement of expected marginal cost, contribution, and
Profits.
profit. Without doing this work, you can't prepare that statement. It won't fly. Okay, Apapa factory. Apapa factory. Statements of expected marginal cost, contribution, and profits. At proposed level of activity. Please, what is the proposed level, Papa?
5%.
Thank you. That is 75%. And at this level, what is the output to be produced? 9,000. Output to be produced at this level is 9,750. Okay. Before we go to this work, I need to do one more work itself. Okay, let me just move down a bit. We need to determine the selling price. Because we need to do profit, there should be selling price. Let me take this work in here. Okay. This can you mute? Calculation of selling price. Per unit. Now you have the level of activity at Apapa. We have 80% level, 90% level, and 100% level. At this level, okay, that means I will taking it to next page safe. This working. I should have taken it to next page. I will cancel it out on there. I will take the working here. Working 3. Selling price per unit. Selling price per units. I have level 80%, 90%, and 100%.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Please, at the proposed 75%, where's the 9,007 coming from, sir?
We calculated in step 1. You started class with us?
Yes, sir.
You calculated this in step 1.
Yes. I've seen it, sir. Thank you.
Our outputs, we have 10,400 units, 11,700 units, and we have 13,000 units. Please, what is the sales value for Papa at each of the levels given?
208,000 for 80%.
208,000
234,000.
naira. 234, right?
Yes, sir. 234.
4,000.
And 260,000.
260,000. Now we can calculate selling price per unit now at each level. Total sales value divided by number of units produced and sold. 208 divided by 10,400. What do you have?
20.
Selling price 20 naira. How much here? 20 also.
Again.
Yes, sir.
20. Can you see? That means the selling price at Apapa is 20 naira per unit. Because you are going to calculate contribution, you must have sales value. So we can go back to that statement now. I want to round up this and take the second. All right. We are there now. All right. 2 naira sign. Naira sign. We have our space in brackets. We are proposing to do 75% level. So at this level, we are going to produce and sell 9,750
units.
And the selling per unit is 20 naira. So what is the sales value?
195,000.
195,000. Next, our variable cost. Remember, you are trying to get marginal cost. So you are going to group all your variable costs together. Direct material cost is a variable cost. We are planning to produce 9,750 units. What is material cost per unit as calculated? 7 naira.
7
Is that
naira.
not
7
clear?
naira. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Material cost per unit is constant at all levels, whether at 80%, 90%, 100%, or 75% per one. That is per unit. But the total material cost will keep on changing as we produce more. Please multiply what you have here.
68,250.
Is equal to 68,250. 250. Go to direct labor. Direct labor cost is also entirely a variable cost. We are planning to produce 9,750 units. What is labor cost per unit?
6
naira.
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 Please multiply.
58,500.
58,500.
58,500.
500.
Then you are now going to pick your variable production overhead, because we need to get all the variable costs together. We are planning to produce 9,750 units. What is variable overhead per unit? How much?
3 naira.
3
3
naira.
naira.
Let's multiply.
29,250.
29,250.
You have taken all the variable costs. Now sum all your variable costs. That will give you your total marginal cost.
156,000.
156,000 naira. This is the expected marginal cost if Apapa factory reduce production to 75% level. Is that clear, please? The question says expected marginal cost at the proposed level. So if production is reduced to 75% level at Apapa, then the total marginal cost will be 156,000. The total marginal cost, you have calculated this, 156. You can now get your contribution. Contribution is state value less marginal cost. Is that not, please?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So please compose contribution.
39,000.
39,000.
39,000. Can come here. Contribution is equal to sales minus marginal cost. Close this. This will give us 39,000. You have calculated marginal cost. Next, calculate your profit. Profit is contribution less fixed cost, less total fixed overhead. What's the total fixed overhead, please?
28,000.
38,000.
28,000.
You can now get your profit. What's the profit?
11,000.
Okay.
11.
11,000.
Our profit is 11,000. You are done with this. You are done with Apapa now. Any question, please? Take this one. We can now move to Ikeja. Let's take this off so that to remove confusion.
Recording in progress.
So we can move to Ikeja now. Let's look at Ikeja. Okay, let's take that reading. The examiner says the factory at Ikeja is also currently working at 90% level of activity, in brackets 8,100 units of a different product, bracket close. Due to heavy sales demand, it is intended to increase output to 115%. All right. So at Ikeja, we have 80% level up to 110. Now the company is planning to increase production to 115% level of activity at Ikeja factory. So let's go and look at this. We need to calculate the expected marginal cost, the contribution, and the profits. All right, this is where we stop. We start working here for Ikeja. Please, can you mute if you are not speaking to the class? Ikeja factory. Techno and Adedolapo, please, can you mute? Again, you are going to take similar approach here also. Start with your step 1. Step 1. Determine outputs in units at each level of activity. We are giving 80% level. We are giving 90% level. We have 100% level. We have 105. And we have 110. At 90%, Ikeja produced 8,100 units. We can now calculate units for other levels. For 80, it becomes 80 over 90 multiplied by 8,100. Please compute. 100 over 90 multiplied by 8,100 units. Please compute. 105 over 90 multiplied by 8,100 units. And 110 over 90 multiplied by 8,100. Sorry, what do you have here?
First one,
7,200.
7,200.
Okay. Next,
9,000 for the third one.
what do you have here?
9,450.
What do you have?
9,900.
Thank you. Please, again, please, can you mute? No, your speaker is completing the class. On the background, people are speaking and we can hear. All right. You now move to step 2. Your step 2, test for cost behavior.
Sir, we didn't
You must-
calculate for the proposed.
Oh, thank you. It's an omission. Now come here. Thank you for that. Okay, can I manage here? Let me see if I can put it here. Otherwise, no, let's take it here, self. Why am I wasting it? Just come here. We have proposed level at Ikeja. The proposed level is 115%. That becomes 115 over 90 multiplied by 8,100 units. That will give us how much?
10,350.
10,000.
350 units.
350 units. Thank you for that. Now step 2. Test for cost behavior. It's okay, don't go too far. Step 2. Test for cost behavior. You start with your direct material. Remember, we are dealing with the Ikeja factory now. Direct material cost. We have our levels. We have 80% level. We have 90% levels. We have 100% levels. We have 105. And we have 110%. Output in units. This is 7,200 units, 8,100 units, 9,000 units, 9,450 units, 9,900 units. Now pick the total direct material cost.
79,200.
That is for Ikeja.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
In Naira, 79,200.
89,100.
100.
89.
Yes, sir.
100.
99,000.
99,000.
102.
102,825,000.
102.
25.
805. Next.
106,650.
106,650.
Now let us get direct material cost per unit.
11.
Per unit. Please always put Naira. 11 Naira.
Yeah. Okay. 11 naira for the second one.
11 Naira.
11 naira for the third.
11 Naira. Please, if there is fraction, take to 2 decimal places.
10.88 for the
10 Naira 88 kobo.
and the last is 10.77.
10 Naira 77 kobo. All right. If you look at, if you have to comment on this cost, you observe that if the production is within 100%, material cost per unit is constant. Is that not?
Yes, sir.
But if production exceeds 100%, what happens to material cost per unit?
It
It
reduces.
reduces.
Thank you. This cost is still a variable cost. But there's a problem. If production is within 100%, material cost per unit is constant. As soon as production exceeds 100%, direct material cost per unit falls. This could be as a result of, if you have to comment on this, because I'm writing it will take, it might also consume our time. If you have to comment on this, you are going to say, let me try and summarize the comment. You are going to say, okay, you are going to put a comment. Let me try and put that comment. Because that comment is important to this calculation. When production is within 100% level, material cost per unit is constant at 11 naira. But if production is above 100%, material cost per unit falls. Full stop. This could be as a result This could be as a result of large quantity discounts obtained on material purchase. Material purchase. Full stop. In this case, it is necessary to use high and low method to determine material cost per unit. Material cost per unit. Per unit if production, no, let me use for production. For production above 100%. These comments will help you to understand why we treat this Ikeja differently. Material cost per unit is constant, provided production is within 100%. But for production above 100%, the material cost per unit falls. In this case, you are going to use high and low method to determine material cost per unit for production above 100%. To calculate this, please note, if you are now doing high and low method, you know we said our comment, we mentioned that we are only going to pay attention to production above 100%. Look at it, please. If production is 80%, material cost per unit is 11 naira. If production is 90%, material cost per unit is 11 naira. Production at 100%, material cost per unit is 11 naira. This is constant. But when we move to 105, material cost per unit falls. You are now going to use high and low method to calculate material cost for above 100%. In this case, your highest activity level will be 110, and your lowest activity level will be 105.
Huh?
Are you there, please?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Sir, why 105? I was thinking that 100 should have been the base, or 101.
Okay, you are correct. You can either use 100 or 105. Either of them will give you the same answer.
Okay.
Whether you pick 100 or you pick 105, but it must be production from 100% and above. It must be above 100%. Is
Hello,
that clear,
sir.
please? Yes, please go ahead.
Please, sir, considering the fact that the figures after the digits can easily be approximated, would it be wrong if we decide to approximate and then let everything be 11?
They are going to get incorrect solution.
Okay, sir.
Do you understand? If you try to approximate, we didn't approximate from 80 to 100. We didn't approximate.
Yes, sir.
You now approach. That means you have approximation will create error in your calculation.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Also, sir, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Also, sir, the comments that we've been stating, I don't know if you mentioned it earlier. In the case of an exam, would it be necessary to state out the comments like this?
No, you might not state it out 100%. But for this particular one, you need to now use an low method. You might not state it out. They might not penalize you because you are dealing with time. You understand that? Okay, the student is faced with 3 hours, so he's trying to just move on. But you must understand why we are using high and low method at above 100%. That's why I'm trying to explain it like this.
All right, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right. Now we now take it, like I said, and the other guy is also correct. You can start from 100, but I always try to explain that above 100% so that it becomes clearer. Or I'll come here. Continuation of we are still on material. I will now do like this: high and low. At output, the highest is 9,900 units. My low is 105,950. Then direct material cost at the highest level, how much, please? For a kg, how much?
106.
650.
650.
Then
Then for
102.
102,825.
102,825.
825. Differences here, 450 units. Differences here, how much? 3,000.
3,825.
3,825. Now get variable material cost per unit at above 100%. You come here, variable material cost per unit. This is equal to 3,825 divided by 450. What do you have, please?
8.5.
8 naira 50 kobo, please.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
This is equal to
It's the same thing if you use the 100. So.
I told you now. I told you. 8 naira 50 kobo. Please, you are not going to calculate fixed cost here. You observe that we are not saying material cost is a mixed cost. We only observe that after production is above 100%, material cost per unit falls. So in this case, we are not saying this material cost is a mixed cost. There's no fixed cost involved in this. The only thing is that after production is above 100%, or once production is above 100%, material cost per unit is falling. So you are not going to use high and low method to calculate material cost per unit if production exceeds 100%. Is that clear, please?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir.
So you can move to labor now. Right? It's okay now. This thing here. Come on, put some mark on mine. Come on, remove it, John. I'll come here. I'll now come to direct labor cost. Again, you have our levels. We have 80% level. We have 90% level. We have 100% level. We have 105. We have our outputs. Here is 7,200, 8,100, 9,000 units, 9,450 units, 9,900 units. Now, our labor cost in total, can you supply, please?
57,600.
57,600.
64,800.
64,800.
72,000.
72,000.
76,500.
76,500.
And 81,000.
And 81,000 naira. So go and calculate labor cost per unit. Let's check this. 8 naira at this level.
8 naira at the second level.
8 naira also.
8 naira at 100%.
8 naira also.
8.10. That's 105%.
8 naira 0.10.
8.18 at 110%.
8.18, thank you. What can you observe? What can you see from this cost?
The same thing that
Anybody can
happened with.
No, it increases in this
It
stage.
increases.
please
Perhaps
put the comment.
the payment of overtime or any production level that exceed 100.
Can you take that comment again?
I said it's likely that they paid overtime to this labor for production level that exceed 100%.
Okay, but you are right. I want if you look at this, the comment will be if the production is within 100%.
Yeah.
The direct labor cost per unit is constant at 8 naira.
Yeah.
Is that clear? As soon as production exceeds 100%, direct labor cost per unit increases. This could be as a result of overtime payments. Do you understand it, please? You are going to put your comment in a way that the examiner will say that this person understands the solution is doing. That look, oh, I observe that if the production is within 100%, it's like saying you are just working within 100% capacity. Management is paying you 8 naira per unit produced. If you increase your production above 100%, management is paying you at higher price. This could be as a result of overtime payments. In this case, it is necessary to use high and low method to determine labor cost per unit when production is above 100%. Is that clear, please? So you now move to that low method. Of course, I won't write this again, but I'm assuming that we can relate with it and produce the comment ourselves. You now come here and say, okay, you are going to state it that it is possible that management is paying overtime for production above 100%. That is why labor cost per unit is higher. Or yes, when production exceeds 100%. So I'm going to take high and low method here again. My high, low. The highest level now above 100%. This is my output level. That will be 9,900. At this level, labor cost total is 81,000. Then at my low level 105, no, this is 9,450. Labor cost is
76,500 naira.
Differences in units, 450. Differences in labor cost, how much?
4,500.
4,500. So what is variable labor cost per unit?
10
naira.
10 naira.
The variable labor cost per unit is equal to divided by 4. This is equal to 10 naira. That means for production above 100%, it's going to be 10 naira per unit. For production within 100%, labor cost is 8 naira per unit. Is that clear, please?
Yes, sir.
All right, we can now move to production. Page, solution page, what now? 8. Wow. This month. Come here. Production overhead costs. Our activity level, you take it, the levels 80, 90, 100, 105, 110. Outputs in units. This is 7,200 units. This is 8,100 units. This is 9,000 units. 9,450 units. 9,100 units. Now, please let me check to move this up, please. The production overhead for Ikeja.
49,800.
This is 49,800. Next.
53,400.
53,400. Next.
57,000.
57,000. Next.
58,800.
58,800. And the last one?
60,600.
60,600. This is production overhead. The concern will not be in the class, but they will take the note later. Now get overhead cost per unit.
For 80%, 6.92.
How much?
6.92.
6.92.
6.59.
6.59.
6.33.
6.33.
6.22.
6.22. Next.
6.12.
6.12. What can you observe from here?
Now the cost is a mixed cost, all true.
Who is commenting now?
It's Oliver.
Who is
We're saying that the nature of the cost behavior is that it is a mixed cost all through. There's an element of fixed cost in it.
because of what? Because why?
Because
Why
the
is
cost
it
varies. The cost varies. The cost varies as the production increases.
Okay, let it speak. Let me know why it's a mixed cost.
When production volume increases.
Okay. What happened to cost?
The cost per unit drops.
Thank you. As production volume increases, cost per unit falls consistently. It was falling. It's an indication that this cost is a mixed cost. You observe that this thing started from 80%, not after 100%. Is that clear, please?
Yeah.
Yes.
Unlike the labor and material cost we calculated before. For overhead cost, the cost starts falling from 80%. As we produce more, cost per unit will fall. This is an indication that this overhead cost is a mixed cost. It contains elements of variable cost and fixed cost. In this case, we are going to separate the cost using high and low method into variable overhead cost and fixed overhead cost. Is that clear, please?
Yes, so.
Thank you. We now go to the separation. In this case, Our lowest level is 80%. We come here using high and low method. That is high, low. Output here. The output here, 9,900 units. The production overhead at the highest level is 60,600. Our low level, 7,200 units. And the overhead cost at low level, how much?
49,800.
Yeah, 49,800.
$2,700 for
49,800. Differences here, 2,700 units. Differences here,
22,200.
how much?
10,800.
10,800. Now I will now calculate the variable overhead rates.
Honor.
Wow, people are fast too. Divided by 2,700. That will give me 4 naira per unit. Per unit. Next, I will now go and get my total variable cost, either at the highest level or at the lowest level. Okay. I will now come here. Our level as high level or low level. At this level, we produce output happens to be 9,900 units. Yeah, output happens to be 7,200. Variable rate per unit. This is 4 naira. 4 naira. Please get your total variable overhead.
39,600 for high.
39,600.
This is
38,800 for low.
600.
39,600. How much for low?
28,800.
28,800. I can get my total fixed overhead. Our total fixed overhead. I'll pick the total overhead there at high level. Total overhead is 60,600 minus 39,600. Get your, at low level, this one is 49,800 minus 28,800. What is the total?
21,000.
21,000.
Overhead. whether at the highest level or at the lowest level, the total fixed cost will be the same. Is that clear, please?
Yes, sir.
Now we have been able to separate, we have determined cost behavior. We have been able to separate our cost into the variable aspects and the fixed aspect. So we can now go ahead and prepare the statements for Ikeja factory. Okay, before then, what is the selling price at Ikeja?
Selling price 216,000.
Let's go to it together. We are going to show the workings. I'll come here. Working 3 for Ikeja. Calculation of selling price. You are going to pick all the levels you are giving. You have 80%. You have 90%. You have 100%. You have 105. You have 110. You are giving this. Now come here. Volume at this level. This is 7,200 units. 8,100 units. 9,000 units. 9,450 units. 9,900 units. Then our sales value in Naira, how much, please?
216,000.
216,000.
243,000.
243,000.
270,000.
270,000. That is Naira. Next.
283,500.
283,500.
297,000 naira.
283,500. And the last one,
297,000.
Please get selling price per unit. Divide sales by how much?
30 naira.
30 naira.
30 naira.
30 naira.
Another 30 naira.
This means
on
that
the last, no, on the last one, that's on the 110.
I didn't get that, ma.
Yes, they're all 30% variable.
30 naira.
All the sales we have is 30 naira per unit.
Yes, sir.
You can prepare your statement now. Can come here. Ikeja factory. Yes. Please go ahead with your question. Techno, you can ask your question.
Hello, sir.
You are welcome, sir.
Is it possible that at any of the level, the price can change?
It's not impossible.
Okay, what should we do?
In that case, examiner will tell you what to do. Is that clear, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Examiner must provide the selling price then. If you don't expect the selling price to vary, you know it's a standard company. But if selling price is not varying, that means examiner must give us a guidance on how to treat it. Contribution and profits. All right. Our Naira sign. But let's maintain 3 Naira signs. Let me do 3 Naira sign. You start with your sales value. At Apapa factory, we are planning to produce, that is at one proposed level, 115%, Abby?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
That production will be 10,000
350.
multiplied by selling price per unit. What is the sales value? How much, please?
310,500.
Go to your variable cost. Variable cost. We start with direct material. Now, if you look at the material cost, we have two. If production is within 100%, Abi?
Yes, sir.
Material per unit is 11 Naira.
Yes, sir.
But if production is above 100%, material cost per unit is
50 kobo.
0.8 Naira 50 kobo. Is
Yes,
that
sir.
not, please?
That's
So
true.
which one are we going to use?
8 Naira 50 kobo.
8 Naira 50 kobo.
Okay. You are partly correct. We are going to use both.
Once it increases, we'll use the other one.
Now, for the you know to achieve 100%, you must produce how many? 9,000 units, Abi?
Yes.
Yes.
That means the first 9,000 production is within 100%. The first 9,000 to be produced is within 100%. That would be at 11 Naira. Look at it. I'll come here. First 9,000 units. The material cost per unit for this will be 11 Naira. Out of 10,350, we have produced 9,000. We are left with what?
1,350.
Thank you. That is the extra that is produced above 100%. You now come here. The second batch now. The second batch. 1,350 units. This is the unit that will take you to above 100%. This unit material cost will be at
8
8
Naira.
Naira. So you are going to separate it. The first 9,000 units is under 100%. The extra that will now make 10,350, that is 1,350, is going to be the extra units that is going above 100%. So I'm now going to calculate your material cost.
99,000.
99,000 here. How much here?
11,475.
11,475. Total material cost. Please sum these two together.
110,475.
110,475.
110,475. This is total direct material cost. You move to labor again now. Direct labor. Please hold on, the system is hanging. Why? Allow me to finish this class, oh, please, oh. All right. Direct labor costs. Also remember, if you look at it, for labor cost, if production is within 100%, labor cost per unit is 8 naira. That not? So you are going to do the batch. First batch is within 100%. We are going to produce 9,000 first. At this 9,000, labor cost is 8 naira per unit. The second batch, to make up 10,350, we need to produce 1,350 units. Labor cost per unit, how much?
10 naira.
Please compute your labor cost.
That's 72,000 for the first one.
72,000.
And
Next.
35 for the second one.
35. Now, if you sum the two, you are going to get total labor cost.
85,500.
85,500. This is total labor cost. Move to the next page. You know, it's a whole lot. But the good thing is that at least this question is almost finishing. I don't need to come back to it again. I'll come here. You now come to your variable production overhead. Remember, we are trying to get the marginal cost. So you must take all the variable costs together. If you look at variable production overhead per unit, whether at 100% or above 100%, what is variable rate per unit?
6 naira.
6 naira.
How much?
6 naira.
4 naira.
Check it.
4 naira.
4 naira. So you don't need to separate anything here, because whether you are within 100% or above 100%, the variable production rate per unit is 4 naira. You just pick everything. 10,350 units multiplied by 4 naira. That we, no, not 3 naira, multiplied by 4 naira.
41,400.
Thank you, 41,400. This is equal to, this working is equal to 41,400. You can add all your variable costs together now.
237,375.
237,375.
375.
That is total material cost plus total labor cost plus total variable production overhead cost. Good. This is our expected margin, or total marginal cost. You are correct. So you can get your contribution now. Your sales
73,125.
73,125 is our contribution. Then you can now get less your fixed, less fixed overhead.
21,000.
21,000. You can get your profit now.
31,125.
How much?
52,125.
52,000.
125.
Yeah, that's correct. $52,125. This is the profit. All right. You are done with that part A of the question. The part B is not, part B is just 5 minutes. You are done with that. Any question, please? If you look at the part B of the question, examiner says, a brief explanation why the approach used for estimating costs differs for both factory. If you look at the way we estimate costs at Apapa factory, it's different from the way we estimate costs at Ikeja factory. Why?
Because at a certain point, when the production level exceeds 100, you incur more costs or you save more costs.
Exactly. But that is just the point we needed. The reason is because at Apapa factory, production is within 100%. If production is within 100%, the company will not enjoy quantity discounts, and the company will not incur overtime pay. Thank you. But at Ikeja factory, the production is above 100% level of activity. In this case, the company enjoy large quantity discounts on purchase. Also, it incur overtime premium payment. That is the reason why we have differences in the approach to estimating costs. Is that point clear, please?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Please take it again, sir.
Okay. I said the requirement B, we are required to explain why The approach used to estimate costs in a Papa factory is different from the approach used to estimate costs in the Ikeja factory. We now said the reason for differences in the approach used is because at a Papa factory, production is within 100%. If production is within 100%, the company will not pay overtime payments. And the company will not enjoy quantity discounts, large quantity discounts on purchases. Full stop. At Ikeja factory, production is above 100%. Hence, the company is likely to incur overtime premium payment. Also, the company will enjoy large quantity discount. Somebody said I should just write it and share to the platform. Oh my God. All right. Any question, please? All right, on this note, we shall be stepping out of the classroom. Thank you for your time. May God give us a better understanding.
Amen.
By God's grace, on Monday, we shall be looking at price theory. You know, we have started. We started this class yesterday. Some of us that joined the online class, right?
Yeah.
We shall continue with price theory. All right. Yes, Alexa. It's Alexa.
This type of question always come out in exams.
Are you making a comment or are you asking a question?
No, I'm asking a questions at the same time like a tips. In this type of question, is it always comes out in exams?
Okay, assuming there is this question of this nature is tested in the exam.
Yes.
How you are going to approach it, right?
Is it always coming up? Is it always coming out?
She just wants to know if this kind of question is being set by ICAN.
Yeah.
Okay. ICAN can decide to set any question, so it can be texted.
Hello, sir.
Can we have the notes for last week? But some of us were just joining today.
Can we have what?
The notes, the first part of the notes on cost estimation.
Okay, the first part of the notes. Okay, it's on the platform, so somebody can reshare. We can reshare.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
You mentioned that the price theory topic was started yesterday. Some of us did not join the class. Please, can we take it over on Monday next week?
Price theory.
In fact, you don't need to even. By the time we start, by the time we start on Monday, you are not going to miss the class. The class you miss on Saturday, on Sunday, sorry, that won't be a problem.
Okay. Yesterday was the class, sir.
Yes, what happened that, yesterday is an unusual, we have an online class with VI students. So we now say let's invite the online student if you are able to join.
Okay.
So normally I don't have PM. My PM is always Monday.
Okay.
Yes, the techno man. What do you want again?
Thank you, sir. I think Alexa was trying to ask you if it were to be that there is a past question on this topic. I think that was what he was trying to at least.
On cost estimation.
Yeah.
Of course, now.
Maybe you can provide that. That is what she was trying to get from.
Is that what she's trying to ask? They have past question now. If I know, let me say something. This topic we are dealing with, you are going to try to understand it. You know why? When you get to budgeting, it's in budget. High and low method can be used to prepare budgets. For you to do flexible budget, you must know high and low method. So this topic, we enter any topic. This is our next topic, price theory. You are still going to do high and low method there. So cost estimation can enter any topics under PM. By the time we are solving questions under price theory, you are going to see high and low method coming in. So if our question is, okay, yes.
But the step by steps, is it remain the same?
Yes, if you are to deal with it, the step also will also follow. But mind you, please do not cram anything.
Okay.
Just try to understand the question very well. Maybe after the class, you can study the question, go back to the solution, try to understand the basis for the treatment. One area with PM is that it doesn't allow you to be cramming question or solution. Try to understand the basis, because in the examiner can introduce small, just one sentence to the question that will change the question slightly. So you also need to adjust to that change. Like if I bring in inflation to this question now, that means we have to deal with price level index. We have to adjust for price level index. That was the question we solved last week. How to adjust for inflation in cost. All right, I think we have spent time. We meet on Monday by God's grace. Good night.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
Please, share this working note on the platform.
You are going to get.
Okay.